Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So we have to talk more about this Mike Brown situation as some details has come out via Lou Williams, his connections throughout the NBA, and some of the things he's been hearing about some of the events that help facilitate, the organization choosing to let go of Mike Brown, who had signed a new 3-year extension going all the way through 2027, which, that kind of caught people off guard a little bit. Yeah, they're 13 and 18, but Mike Brown's one of the good guys, one of the good coaches in the league that holds players accountable. Been holding Fox accountable out loud in public, over the last, I don't know, last month or so, really going in. But he's also been the biggest advocate, for his young players. Even Keegan Murray, he's been big advocates for them, but he demands more because he knows is what's going to take them to the next level if they were able to get there. Saw the same result, lost to the Lakers team, I believe, for the third time this year. Was down 20. Same result, right? Um, these guys don't finish games strong. And, you look at it, it's like, yeah, blame Mike Brown, but we see, the first test for Doug Christie, same result. So it's accountability somewhere. But Lou Williams, he's telling us what he's heard. Two of the main things that got Mike Brown canned. Let's check it out.
But from what I understand, it just ran its course very fast and surprisingly. This was a team who we all had and still have high hopes for, and they fell short of those expectations under his leadership. And that happens, and that's no slight to his pedigree as a coach. Players get traded for a lack of a fit. Coaches aren't immune to that, So I'm hearing there was just some pushback from how DeAaron Fox was continuously being singled out, whether it was publicly or behind the scenes, or the players just didn't agree with that sentiment, or I was even hearing whispers that there was a situation where he might have asked, or suggested that even Demar Derozan come off the bench, and those things proved to be severe missteps in an already challenging season, where it put the front office in a position where they had to side with either the all-star talent they had or to part ways with their former coach of the year, who had a brand new 3-year extension. And ultimately they chose to go with the players. And that made Mike Brown a casualty of that. Could they have handled it differently the way that he was fired? That's not my call to make. A lot of coaches and a lot of different people are coming out in support of how it was handled. But this was just a classic example of, a coach losing the locker room and not being on the same page with his players. And, at the end of the day, the players were, who management chose to side with.
I love it, but I'm going to challenge you, DeAaron Fox. You got to figure out how to get to that level without having somebody piss you off, because you're a great player, and great players get to that level on their own, whether it's finding somebody to piss them off or finding something else. Maybe there's a 5-year-old kid that has an opponent's jersey on and not yours. That should piss you off.
There's nothing you guys can do, right? As a team, you're on your end.
What's that?
There's nothing you guys can do, coach, teammates on you guys.
There's some things that we could do.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to try to do it.
Okay.
But as a great player, you got to take that upon yourself more than worry about other things. Now, if other things come along, great.
Yeah.
But you got to figure that out.
Check this out. Joe Mazzulla's not going to win Coach of the Year. Why? They got a good team. Boston's supposed to win. Mark Daigneault, OKC, not going to win Coach of the Year.
He
Why?
won last year.
Yeah, but he got a good team.
Yeah.
Supposed to win. When you win Coach of the Year, that means you overachieve with your team. You're not supposed to do that well. So when you win it, you basically coach these guys up to a level that they really are not. So now you turn around the following year and you want to say, because you were Coach of the Year and the team got to here, y'all should be here. No, you just was able to do an unbelievable job. And let's be honest, maybe some teams you play certain nights, the best player didn't play. You got some breaks that way. The season will kind of even out. So you win Coach of the Year because you exceed expectations, right? Now, the next year, people think you're supposed to do better, but your roster didn't change. You didn't get better. You didn't add anything. And you overachieved. And now this year, you're not surprising anyone. Everybody's ready for you. They're game planning for you. So I just think sometimes when coaches win the Coach of the Year, owners and general managers don't look at it from a standpoint that this guy really did a really good job. He overachieved. But I think what they do, they sit back and say, yeah, we got a good team. Look at the team I gave you. And then, but in reality, all the people that sit at this desk really know that team wasn't that good. That coach and those players just kind of overachieved.
And I look at it right now, Sam. They're 4 games out of the 8th spot.
Yep.
But we have play-ins. If they could have got to the play-in, you never know what can happen.
Playing 10 spots. So
Yes,
they 4
that's
from
right.
the 8.
That's what I said. They
right
2
there.
or 3 from the 10th spot.
And you have to remember, we're only 31 games. Well,
Yes.
13 and 18, they're only 31 games into the regular season.
So I get it. You 31 games into the season and you have these issues, right? We saw a man, Adrian Griffin, get fired for having a good season. We saw him get fired in the midst of a good season. So it's not always even wins or losses. This whole thing has been messed up, I think by ring culture, because sometimes you have to establish a culture with a historic losing franchise. Like, Sacramento Kings since the Rick Adelman days, man, they haven't been nothing to write home about. And they got a little taste of that when they got in the postseason a few years back. Kind of been on the cusp, close, but the talent had a breakthrough. You were able to go out and find Malik Monk as a piece, to be that spark off the bench, can get heated up real quick. DeMontis Sabonis, DeAaron Fox. You had a young player, Keegan Murray, who kind of is what he is at this point. Many thought, he could grow after his impressive summer league and some of his performances grow into that third consistent guy. That didn't happen. You go out, you get DeMar DeRozan, to try to make sure you have a seasoned third option. And, for whatever reason, it just hasn't materialized so far this year. But I think they were just like a 3 or 4 game winning streak away from, finding something. I don't think, a team like Sacramento, see some situations that you're in, some organizations, changing coaches can be the fix. That can be what's needed at the time. I think Sacramento, from the top down, they need a change. So it's not going to matter who the coach is within that organization. There's a lot more it has to change. And one of the most stable things you had was Mike Brown. The fans loved him. De'Aaron Fox played his most meaningful basketball with Mike Brown. So again, I don't know the nature of their relationship. I know he said he don't feel no guilt. It's the nature of the business and all that. You can't run from this though, bro. You're gonna have to be a leader at some point. And if you end up on any other team outside of Sacramento, it's gonna be expectations. And you're gonna be under the microscope a little bit more. Now, DeMar DeRozan going to the bench at this stage in his career, I don't see a problem with that. If he was asked to do that, I don't see a problem with that. You've already had, a big time career as a starter and all that. And you could have easily competed for like 6th man of the year or something like that if you went to the bench. It really helped the team. Maybe they needed some more of a punch. You put him with Malik Monk on the bench. Then you have more. It seems like to me, if Mike Brown was to ask that, he was trying to find more for the team, trying to maximize the abilities of his roster. And maybe DeMar DeRozan is one of those guys that wasn't down for that. I remember Melo at one point didn't want to come off the bench in his career. And, sometimes that can hurt a really good offensive player as they start to age. You want to do what's best for the team. You want to be a vet and do your thing like that. It's not like, DeRozan's fighting for another max deal, where or super max or nothing like that. So you do what you can to help the team win, man. So maybe I don't know. I don't know the whole dynamic there. And Fox, he definitely been calling Fox out in public, but Mike Brown's old school, man. He's old school. And one of the things I always say about Mike Brown is he coached a young LeBron James, so you're not gonna wow him with your talent where he can't coach you. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna tell you what he's thinking and what can make you a better player. Because as many videos as you can find about Mike Brown uh, calling out DeAaron Fox, you also can find more videos of him taking up for him in the post game, um, talking about him not getting a fair whistle and everything like that. So if Fox has something to do with this, I want Fox to remember that as much as he called you out, he was also that coach that was, taking up for you in the media. And so we'll see how this going forward. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.